Hello, music fans. I know most of you are probably thinking that there's no good new music coming out in December 2024. Probably most of you are already starting to make your year-end lists if that's the kind of thing you do, if you're a music fan like me who makes year-end lists of favorite albums. But I want to talk about 10 new albums that are going to come out in December 2024 that I'll be listening to. And if you're a fan of metal, rock, and prog, then you've come to the right place for recommendations for music. Let's start it off with December 6th. Virtual Symmetry is releasing Veils of Illumination. This is the fourth album by this Swiss band. It's progressive metal. And I thought their last self-titled album from 2022 was excellent. Lots of great guitar work, melodic vocals and hooks, and they started it with a 20-minute prog epic. So this is actually my most anticipated album of December. The single Canvas of Souls is an excellent track, and I hope there's even more epic stuff here on the rest of the album. Next up, on the same day, Anthony Kalugin is releasing Constellations. This is the ninth solo album by Anthony Kalugin from the Ukraine. It's his style is this kind of classic symphonic progressive rock, very keyboard driven. He's from the Ukraine, and I'm most familiar with his work under his Carthagin project, which is all very good stuff. He's one of the best modern progressive rock keyboard players at the moment, in my opinion. And I feel like everything he makes is very good, but I still haven't heard anything from him that I'd consider near masterpiece or masterpiece level. It's all very much inspired by the past classic 70s symphonic prog sounds for fans of Yes and Genesis. Uh, Very cool keyboard heavy, maybe even like a little Jordan Rudess influence in there too. He does have some modern sounds in there. It's all great, but I hope he brings in some more experimentation on this and pushes his boundaries a bit more. And I hope there are some vocals as well. The early track I heard here is instrumental, but I definitely prefer vocal music. I can latch onto it more. I'm not sure though if Anthony Kalugin is the best vocalist, so maybe he'll get some good guest vocalists on here. I hope so. And next on my list is Aqualung Redux, which is a compilation of covers of classic songs by Jethro Tull from their Aqualung album. Features bands from various countries around the world. So this is kind of a progressive folk rock album with hard rock influences. I'm sure most fans of classic 70s progressive rock will be aware of Jethro Tull's Aqualung album. And this is the album just reimagined by 11 bands that include Motorpsycho and The Sword. So I'm kind of curious to hear other bands put their spin on it and put their flavor into this great album, Aqualung, one of my favorite Jethro Tull albums. So that could be a good one to check out. Now let's move on to December 13th. Hellgo is releasing Etiquette. This is the debut album by this Italian band, and it's post-hardcore with metal, hardcore punk, and post-rock influences. I checked out the opening track on Bandcamp. I put it on my list to listen to because it sounds good. So if you like post-hardcore, this could be a good one for you to check out. On the same day, December 13th, Misanthropy is releasing The Ever-Crushing Weight of Stagnance, which is the third album by this American band, and it's technical death metal. I've never heard an album by them before, but I heard the track The All Devouring ahead of time, and that made me add this to my list to listen to. If you like technical death metal, this should be up your alley. Now let's jump over to December 20th. We've got Frontierer releasing The Skull Burned Wearing Hell Like a Life Vest as the Night Wept, which is a wild title for an album. It's actually an EP, and this is a band from the UK. They play kind of mathcore with gent, hardcore, and technical death metal influences. They're actually from Scotland, and if you're a fan of bands like Car Bomb, and Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza. I think you might like this. It's kind of like a mix of those, kind of mathcore meets gent, like low guitar mathcore. Um, I've never listened to an album by them before, but I just heard the opening track, The Skull Burned, on Bandcamp, and added it to my list. So that's what I'm basing the Car Bomb and Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza comparisons off of, is just one track. So I'm not super familiar with them, but it sounded cool, so put it on my list. And on the same day, December 20th, Culak is releasing Ens Astrale, the 20th album by this American artist. It's post-metal with black metal, doom metal, progressive metal, folk metal, technical death metal, gent, shoegaze, and classical influences. Now, I think it's the 20th album by this prolific one-man project from the US. They started back in 2013, so if they've already released 20 albums, they're putting out like two a year pretty much. This is Christian Culloch, and I've never heard any of his albums before, but I did hear the track Brave the Tempest from this one on Bandcamp. That made me put this on my list. The production here is a bit on the raw side. You can tell it's more of a low budget one man project done and recorded at home, but it's not bad sounding. It's kind of charming to hear some raw production. The instruments and songwriting are well done, and they take you on a journey. The drumming is well performed, the guitar playing is solid. Sounds like there's some violin in there too. I'm not too sold on the harsh vocals I heard though. They weren't my favorite, but the music took me on a journey, so I put it on my list and I'll be checking it out. Culloch Ens Astrale. The last one on my list for December 20th is Fish in a Birdcage. This is Fish in a Birdcage is the artist, and Mentors is the album name. And it's the fourth album by this Canadian band. It's a not really a band. I think it's just a one-man project again. It's folk rock with indie rock influences. The man behind this project is Dustin Townsend. I've never heard a full album by him, but I did hear two of the early release singles from this, and I thought they sounded cool, so I added this to my list to check out. And I've just got two more videos left to talk about in this video, or two more albums to talk about in this video here. Druparia is releasing The River Above on December 27th, the debut album by this American band. It's melodic death metal with metalcore, black metal, thrash metal, and progressive metal influences. I heard the early single on Bandcamp here, which is the title track, The River Above. I like the guitar playing, great melodic riffs throughout. It was all harsh vocals. If you're a fan of In Flames, At the Gates, Trivium, and As I Lay Dying, definitely check this out. It sounds like a mix of those bands. And last album on my list for the year, which brings me to a whopping 420 albums listened to once I get to this, which is a lot. I'm hoping next year I listen to fewer albums than this because I've checked out so much stuff. I kind of wish I spent more time with some of the albums that I loved the most. So next year, that's my resolution, is to listen to at most 400 albums. Don't go over 400. Um, but Dominum is releasing The Dead Don't Die, the second album by this German band. It's power metal with heavy metal influences. And I've never heard an album by them before, but I heard the early single, One of Us. I enjoyed that, added it to my list. Very catchy, very interesting music video for it as well. So definitely check this out if you're a fan of power metal. I think you'll like The Dead Don't Die by Dominum. And that's it for these 10 albums that I plan to check out in December. Let me know, which of these are you most excited for? And is there anything else coming out in December in metal, rock, and prog that you think I shouldn't miss? Let me know down in the comments. And hit that subscribe button if you want to hear my first impressions on these albums when they come out. And probably I'll start doing some year-end content pretty soon, like making my top 10 albums of the year in various subgenres, and obviously my epic top albums of the year overall video that for anybody in kind of music fan YouTube world, those are always like the big videos that everyone cares about. So I'm looking forward to making that one. So stay tuned, hit that subscribe button if you want to see what my opinions on this music and other music as it comes out. Peace out.